Good morning. Hi, my name's Ben Kajee, and we'll do some introductions in a moment. Welcome to the Big Assembly for Stephen Lawrence Day 2022. Now, it's called the Big Assembly because while you can only see me just hanging out in my dining room in Stockton Heath, which is near Warrington, near Manchester, there are lots of schools all over the country watching. So a great big hello, wherever you are. You might be in Devon or Cornwall, or maybe you're in Cardiff or Edinburgh, Glasgow, Manchester, wherever you are. A great big hello. I hope you're doing okay on this Friday and that you've got some sunshine. I just mentioned, and you can see in the corner, my name's Ben Kajee, and some of you might have seen me on TV or heard me on radio and different bits in the past. I'm a presenter on CBeebies and CBBC and BBC Sport as well. So I've worked across Wimbledon and Match of the Day and lots of other different bits. Now, it's a privilege and an honour to be involved in Stephen Lawrence Day. This is the second year that I've been involved. I did some stuff last year and then again this year. And I remember being in primary school and knowing about Stephen and things being on the news and speaking to my parents about Stephen and his life, and my dad reading the Stephen Lawrence report. And actually, I was using social media the other day, and you guys probably know this, but on Facebook, you probably don't use Facebook actually. It's probably Snapchat and TikTok, but they do this thing called memories, and you can click and see what's your memories over a course of a long period of time. And it said 14 years ago, so while I was at university, me and some friends were remembering Stephen Lawrence 15 years on. And obviously now it's 14 years later, so quick maths, 29 years after Stephen's death. And I've experienced racism from when I was very young, when I was in primary school, 6, 7 years old. And I remember the first time and many of the times after that in places where I was supposed to feel safe and respected and that I'd be okay. Places where my mates were around me. So at school, secondary school, on the football pitch, on the cricket pitch, on nights out, in bars, in restaurants. And it's changed now, and over the last few years, I would say happens less in an obvious way in terms of people threatening me or pinning me against a wall in a nightclub or saying racist words that I won't say here. But it happens now in lots of different ways. So some of you might have seen there are a couple of bits that I did with CBeebies that went viral the year before last, 18 months ago. About equality and about everyone being equal, and also about my own heritage. And obviously when something big happens like that, because I was on 5 Live and BBC Breakfast and other things, you get lots of good, nice comments and positivity and people talking about you and famous people sharing your stuff and whatever. But that also means that you get some pretty horrible, vile online trolling as well that sometimes goes on for quite a long time. So even the other week, I wrote something, been doing some writing for The Independent. Check me out. That was a joke, by the way. And it wasn't at all to do with, it was about, I wrote something, I love the Foo Fighters. It was about Taylor Hawkins, who sadly died, the drummer of the Foo Fighters. And there were some horrible comments on there, and some of the other posts that I'd written that were super racist about the fact, saying that I wasn't British and I wasn't English because my surname's Kajee, even though I was born in Ipswich and I've lived in England the whole of my life. So it still happens now, but in a slightly different way, which is why I have my DMs turned off on Twitter. They're on Instagram. So some of the stuff in there at times is pretty appalling, but here we are. So I'm sure lots of you have either experienced racism or been around people who've experienced racism. And, you know, if you're football fans, I'm sure that you've seen it, and some of the stuff that players have to deal with, especially after the Euros last year and other things as well. So yeah, that's enough about me. But it's great. I think we've got well over 100 schools joining today. So I'm really sorry that I can't see you and we can't interact and have a few jokes, and you can take the mickey out of me for supporting West Ham. Come on, you Irons. But yeah, hopefully this will be an interesting 20 minutes or so, and bring about some discussion for you with your colleagues and your mates and in the classroom as well. So today's assembly is all about Stephen Lawrence Day, which we've touched on, and it's been celebrated on the 22nd of April each year since 2019 to remember Stephen Lawrence. And as we've just mentioned, on the 22nd of April 1993, so 29 years ago, at the age of just 18, so not much older than some of you, Stephen was murdered in an unprovoked racist attack. Now, after Stephen's death, his parents set up a charity to create a positive legacy from the tragic death of their son. I'll just put my teeth in so I can talk. In 2020, Baroness Lawrence, Stephen's mum, set up the Stephen Lawrence Day Foundation to work towards a fairer society and help young people, just like you, to achieve their dreams through bursaries, scholarships, and apprenticeships. And Stephen Lawrence Day is an opportunity for young people to have their voices heard and to make the changes they'd like to see and to help to create a world that treats everyone with fairness and respect, which I think we can all agree is a positive thing and something that we should all be aiming towards. Now, through this Stephen Lawrence Day, we want young people to be inspired about what you can achieve in your own life. And we want you to get involved in creating the kind of community and society that you want to live in, a place where you feel respected and safe. We want you to have a strong voice in building an inclusive society. So right now, we'd like to show you a special video recorded by Baroness Lawrence of Clarendon, Stephen's mum. And this is a very special message from her to all of you, to all of the young people who are watching today.
Welcome to Stephen Lawrence Day 2022. I'm Baroness Doreen Lawrence of Clarendon, OBE. Many of you would not have known about Stephen. Stephen was happy. He loved school. He loved sports. His hobbies were art, and he was well into architecture, and that's what he wanted to be. As Stephen grew up, he loved life, and he was just like any of you young people in school today. Stephen died back in 1993. The Stephen Lawrence Day was introduced by Theresa May, the then Prime Minister. And the day should be about a celebration of Stephen's life. So the foundation was set up in 2020. And what we're trying to achieve is looking at education. And we got the idea about the 3 C's, which is to do with the classroom, community, and careers. It's all about young people. You're a part of all of those. School in the classroom is where you have your education. Community is where you're part of the community with your family and your friends. And careers is when you dream about what you like to be when you grow up. So the foundation is there in order to help you to achieve your dreams. In the classroom, for me, is looking at education, how important that is for young people as they grow up. I'd like everyone to understand who they are, where they're from, and understand their background. There's lots of opportunity that provides you through school. So once you leave school, there's, within careers, there's so many options that you can choose. Steve wanted to be an architect. And now we have the apprenticeship. So there's so many options out there for young people now. And the foundation is where you can achieve those dreams also, because we are linking up with so many different professions that can help you to achieve your dreams. Communities brings people together, and the foundation is working with different organizations as partners. So we can make sure for our young people that they have the opportunity to engage within their community. I'd like to thank you for participating in the Stephen Lawrence Day 2022. Follow us on social media at SL Day.
So a special thank you to Baroness Lawrence and also to De Montfort University Stephen Lawrence Research Centre, the Stephen Lawrence Day ambassadors from the Winstanley School, Ruben, Privilege, and Anopa and Kanisha from the City of Leicester College for creating that video. I've written a few notes actually. There were the 3 C's, classroom, community, and careers. And Baroness Lawrence spoke about opportunity and education and Stephen's dreams of being an architect. And she spoke about options and jobs and professions. She also spoke about being in the classroom and being at school. And for me, I'm 35 now, but I still sometimes think, oh yeah, it's the summer holidays, and in 6 weeks I'm going to go back to school and be with my mates again, and we can play football at lunchtime, and we'll meet by the Rock, and then we'll go and get sandwiches together. And yeah, it's not going to happen. So I'm still mates with some of the people I went to school with. In fact, I just went on holiday with my mate Pat a few weeks ago, and it's nice having those long-lasting relationships with people that you've grown up with. So hopefully you've got people around you that you're like, yeah, if I need someone who's there for me and who I can talk to about different issues, then they're going to be there. The other thing is about different jobs and professions, and I'd say that nothing is like really linear. There's a lot of like ups and downs and different ways of getting to that end point. I still don't really know what it is that I want to do. When I was younger, I really loved cricket, and for a while I thought I wanted to be a cricketer. And then after that, I wasn't too sure. Even when I was at university, I studied, it's a mouthful, but journalism, media and cultural criticism at Cardiff. And even while I was doing that course, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And I've done loads of different jobs, from having a paper round when I was younger to doing pot washing. Some of you might have done that before, hard work. Worked in a farm shop, worked in Marks and Spencer's on the tills. I worked in cancer research. I did some freelance business development and some writing. Did some voluntary projects in the UK and in Africa and Asia as well. And then I worked for 3 years for the International Cricket Council in a sport development role, so trying to get more people playing cricket throughout Europe. And then got my job on CBeebies, which has led to loads of other things over the last kind of 7 years. But I just wanted to say that because it's just a way of saying that it's not just like loads of people say, oh, you're on TV, that must happen just like that. It's a lot of hard work and graft and different things that go into it. And I'd say that no experience is wasted. And a funny example of that is when I worked for Marks and Spencer's in the food hall. I did a big shift, like 6-7 weeks of, it's not a big shift, you know what I mean? Just at that time it was like, I'm just out of uni. 6-7 weeks around Christmas. And I really like being on tills because I got to speak to different people and interact with people, which I like. But they got me to dress up in a turkey costume and go outside on Exeter High Street. If any of you are in Devon, you probably know where the M&S is on Exeter High Street. So I had to wear this turkey costume, like trying to tell people to go in the shop to try and get turkeys. Embarrassing. Not as embarrassing as wearing the costumes I have to wear on CBeebies. So good. Now, you might be wondering why we're telling you about Stephen's story 29 years later. And that's because Baroness Lawrence used her voice to stand up for what she thought was right. Excuse me for looking down as well. I've got all my notes here, so it's not all up here, unfortunately. The Labour government awarded Baroness Lawrence her title to recognise the important work that she had done, helping bring communities together across the UK. And we've touched on it. There are people watching today all over the UK, Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and in England as well. And Baroness Lawrence spoke up about racism and unfair treatment and campaigned for change, and this resulted in changes to the law that make things fairer for everyone, for all of us. Now, everyone's voice is important because, as you all know, we're all unique, we're all different, and we should all be treated with respect and tolerance. So we're going to take a bit of a moment to talk about what makes us different and what makes us unique. And we heard Baroness Lawrence tell us that Stephen loved school and sports. And as a teenager, Stephen competed as a runner and used his art skills to start a business with a friend making caps and t-shirts. He was studying technology, physics, and English, and he wanted to go on to university. And you probably remember, he wanted to be an architect. He was a unique young man, and I'm sure that he'd have gone on to achieve amazing things. So we're going to think about what makes you unique, because everyone's different. What are your talents and hobbies? You might be really good at sport. You might be good at listening. You might be good at languages. You might be good at arts and crafts, or good with your hands and practical. Have a little think about what it is that you're good at and what you like doing. What's your favourite subject at school? I know for me, when I got to A-level age, I really liked media studies because it combined lots of things that I was really into. So music, film, cultural stuff, literature, and I quite liked writing. I didn't really like writing essays, but I liked creative writing. So that kind of mixed a lot of things that I was really into. And it meant that you had autonomy sometimes to be able to be creative and make short films and use photography and different things. So that's actually quite helpful for what I do now. What do you aspire to be? It's a hard question. And I don't think that's just about like what job you want to be, whether you want to be, I don't know, an IT consultant or a lawyer or a dentist or a tree surgeon or whatever it might be. I think it's about what do you aspire to be in terms of what type of person do you want to be? What kind of values do you think are important? How do you want to treat other people? How do you want other people to remember you and think of you when they think, oh, whatever your name is, when they think of you, what do they feel? How do you make them feel? What makes you unique? And how can you use your special talents in your community and share them with others? Because there might be loads of different ways that you can help other people around you and raise other people up. You know, if you know your best mate is really into something, how can you help to support them and help them achieve what they want to achieve and their goals. So have a little look at the people sitting near you. Have a look at your teachers and your teaching assistants and the people who are there, people at school. Maybe ask them what they wanted to do and the kind of things that they think are important. What makes them special and unique? You might have teachers around you and you're like, yeah, sure, you know loads about history, or you know loads about RE, or you know loads about IT or PE or whatever it might be, but they might not be your favorite teacher or the person that you like the most because of, they know loads about World War II. It might be how they interact with you, how they make you feel, how they teach you, how they listen to you, how they kind of help you out to learn. It might be that you find them really engaging or funny, or all of that kind of stuff. How can you recognize and support and respect and celebrate diversity in your communities and in your school? Are there things that you can do better? And how could you find out more about other people that you are at school with, or that you play football with, or netball with, or whatever it might be? How can you make sure that you're unique and their unique voice is heard? Now, I'm going to talk to you about some of the people who've inspired me, but I'd like you to think about people who inspire you, and it can be anyone. It could be a teacher or a colleague. It could be your brother or sister or a parent. I know that, I've got family and friends and my mum and dad, and look up to them. We spoke earlier about some of the racism and stuff that I've experienced, and I remember being really young when I was in primary school, and my friend Roger stuck up for me. Can't say that. Yeah. He stood up when he didn't need to. He could have sat there quietly and not said anything. And it's not like someone said, you need to stand up for Ben in this situation. He just did it because he thought it was the right thing to do. So if you've got an opportunity to stand up and do what's right, make sure that you're safe, obviously. But if you've got an opportunity to go, hang on, this isn't cool, let's have a little think here and think about what we're saying and what we're doing and how we're behaving. I think that's a really positive thing. And then I've got loads and loads of heroes. In cricket, when I was younger, Brian Lara, who played cricket for the West Indies, and my team, Warwickshire. I was lucky enough, if any of you have touched on the fact I support West Ham, I interviewed Mark Noble a few years ago. They're called Mr. West Ham. He's played for West Ham for his whole career. Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters. I've got a picture of Dave Grohl up on my wall, and I've been banging on for ages about CBeebies getting him in to read the bedtime story, because they've had massive people you've probably seen, like from Tom Hardy right through to Dolly Parton and Dave Grohl and Chris Evans, who plays Captain America, and all kinds of different people read the bedtime story. So the next one, I really want them to get Denzel Washington in, because he's my favorite actor. Now, it's really cool, I think, that your school have supported Stephen Lawrence Day by taking part in today's assembly, and you can carry on supporting and using your voice all year round by doing lots of different activities and just generally being good citizens and good people. There are loads of resources that you can check out online, and there are things that you can do as well if you would like to. You don't have to, but if you'd like to. You could write a letter, as an example, to Baroness Lawrence explaining why her son's story means a lot to you. I think words are really, really powerful. You could use your talents to raise money, like setting up a sponsored walk or a bake sale. Maybe you're really good at baking. Maybe that is your special skill. You could potentially make a donation to the Stephen Lawrence Day Foundation. Or you could start a business just like Stephen, selling products or services in your community. Maybe you could donate some of your profits. You could celebrate your individuality by sharing your out-of-school achievements with your class, or sharing a book or a film or something that you feel is important to you, and share it with other people. Maybe there isn't something that reflects you and what you're into and your community and your heritage. Maybe you could make one. Maybe you could be creative and go, no, I'm going to set something up. I'm going to make a short film or do a photography project or whatever it might be. And you can listen and learn from a range of different people and explore stories through art and books, and learn about people who are different from you, different religions, and people from different walks of life in different parts of the world. I think that's really important, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. Maybe you can speak to your friends and your teachers and those outside of your school community about what happened to Stephen as well. Because the more people learn about what happened, and the more that people know how awful that was, hopefully the more can be done to create a kinder and fairer and a safer world as well. And hopefully some of those ideas have given you some inspiration and motivation to carry on these conversations with people in your classroom, and maybe your family members and maybe teachers and stuff as well. But however you choose to continue celebrating Stephen Lawrence and Stephen Lawrence Day, we hope that you remember Stephen's story all year round and can take something from it. We'd like you to know that your voice is unique and powerful, and you can use it in so many different ways. You can use it creatively, but you can also use it to celebrate difference and stand up for what is right. Thanks so much for joining us for the Big Assembly for Stephen Lawrence Day 2022. And remember that you can ask your teachers or grown-ups and parents and people that you know to check out the Stephen Lawrence Day Foundation social media channels. You can head on there as well. It's SLDay FDN, but if you search Stephen Lawrence Day Foundation, it will come up. I'm on social media as well. It's just my name. It's just Ben_Kaji, if you want to have a look at that. And you can find things on the Stephen Lawrence Day website as well. And there are different videos, ideas, and activities that, like we say, you can use all year round. Now, if you want to watch this video again, then you can, because there'll be a recording of the assembly on the Stephen Lawrence Day Foundation's YouTube channel. The other thing to say is that if you or someone that you know is facing discrimination or racism or anything that we've spoken about, honestly, I'm gutted that I can't see or be there with some of you, because it's always weird just talking to yourself on a screen and not getting any feedback. Some of you have probably fallen asleep at the back. No one can laugh at my really bad jokes. But yeah, we want you to know that you're not alone. And if you know anyone who is facing discrimination or racism, or you're going through something yourself, there are always people there who can help you and who you can talk to. We don't want you to feel that you're alone with it. And we recommend that you would speak to a teacher or a trusted adult, or speak to your friends and family and people who are there for you. So thanks so much. I'll check the time. Yeah, wicked. It's 10:53. So I was going to go on till 11, but give you a bit of time to think about some of the things we've spoken about. Maybe speak about some of your inspirations or what makes you unique, or things that you can do in your own communities, and take this time hopefully to encourage some discussion and talk about discrimination and racism and how we can make the world hopefully a stronger and brighter and better place. Thanks so much. Hope you have a top weekend, and hopefully see some of you soon. Take care. Bye.